Shalom. Give all glory and honor and praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKadosh. Double honors to the elder apostles and great millstone who rule well. Shalom to the hopeful elect, beginning with the 144,000, the rest of the men, women, and children. Shalom. I'm your brother Magan Shalamar. The title of this short video is The Pride Goeth Before Destruction of America. This Donald Trump has placed a tariff on Russia. 50 days. They have a 50-day notice to come up with a plan to stop the war with Ukraine. Trump has chosen his side to give Ukraine over $350 billion of aid, and more weapons, Patriot missiles. So we're going to hear, Donald Trump and his pride talking about America. This video is fair use for educational purpose only. This is not for monetary gain.
Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov stated that Trump's threats were serious and would be carefully assessed by Moscow. The Trump administration's move signaled a sharp escalation in pressure as the Ukraine conflict drags on. The 50-day deadline places new urgency on Russia to negotiate or face severe economic consequences.
With Russia, but we'll discuss that maybe a different day. But we're very, very unhappy with them, and we're going to be doing very severe tariffs if we don't have a deal in 50 days. Tariffs at about 100%. You'd call them secondary tariffs. You know what that means. But today we're going to talk about something else. And as you know, we've spent $350 billion approximately on this war with Russia and Ukraine. And would like to see it end. It wasn't my war, it was Biden's war. It's not my war. I'm trying to get you out of it. And we want to see it end. And I'm disappointed in President Putin because I thought we would have had a deal 2 months ago, but it doesn't seem to get there. So based on that, we're going to be doing secondary tariffs if we don't have a deal in 50 days. It's very simple. And they'll be at 100%. And that's the way it is. That can be more simple. That's just the way it is. I hope we don't have to do it. But regardless, we are going to be, we make the greatest military equipment in the world, whether it's missiles. You saw that recently in Iran, the way those planes flew in. They hit every single, 14 bombs hit every target. Then you had the helicopters shoot a total of 30 bombs, 30 missiles, and they hit every single, Marco, is that right? Every single, Pete? Every single target. And it was, I guess on a scale of 0 to 10, they say it was about a 15. That's how successful it was. That's how lethal it was, a word they like to use nowadays. But it was an amazing, well-organized attack that people in this country want to do for 24 years. When we had the pilots in last week, they were saying, sir, we've been practicing this for 24 years, meaning people, not them, but other people that are a little older now. But they too, and you were the one that let us do it. But we've been practicing it 3 to 4 times a year for 22, 24 years, because they always knew they had to stop Iran from doing what they were doing, which is trying to come up with a nuclear weapon, a nuclear bomb. And we did it very successfully. And we make the best equipment, the best missiles, the best of everything. The European nations know that. And we made a deal today, and I'm going to have Mark speak about it.
So you see that, America is boasting how much improved weapons they have, superiority over the whole entire earth. We're going to get the first scripture. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 16 and verse 18. Pride goeth before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. As you can see, Donald Trump is bragging about how great of missiles they have and how they've been practicing for over 24 years. And, all the European countries know that the superiority weapons that, America have. And that's basically a warning to, he's giving a warning to Putin, to Russia. So, this is where we headed at as the men of the Lord from Great Millstone, starting from Elder Apostle Tahar on down, out on the highways and byways, bringing forth this 100% truth to the hopeful elect. And also preaching and prophesying the downfall of Babylon the Great, which is America today. We know that this has to happen. And we know that Russia is going to be the downfall of America. This is Isaiah chapter 47. We're going to start at verse 7. And thou sayest, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. America is that lady that that sits on high, and she never thought that America never thinks that she's going to see her downfall. But the Lord is saying that thou should have put those things to thy heart, and they should remember the latter end of it, because the latter end is the destruction. Like I said earlier, the great millstone from the Apostle Tahar on down is on the highways and byways teaching and prophesying about the downfall of America, and how it's going to end, and that, what has to happen first has to be that MOTB, which we know it to be the RFID chip. Verse 8, therefore hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, that dwellest carelessly, that saith in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. But these two things shall come to thee in one moment, in one day, in a moment of the day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thy enchantments. Right, because America never had any boots from the enemy from foreign country in America. America always went to other countries and bombed the hell out of them. But that never happened here. Foreign boots from the enemy invading America. So because America trusts her sorceries, which is the left hand side, that the Lord Yahweh blessed America and blessed the Edomites with this knowledge of that great sword, which is modern day weapon. Verse 10, for thou hast trusted in thy wickedness, thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee, and thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me. And that's the heart that America has, that pride. Of all the other nations on this earth, America, that great whore that sits on the back of the beast, has that pride about them, which is in the book of Daniel, chapter 7. Speaks on that. Therefore shall evil come upon thee, thou shalt not know from whence it ariseth, and mischief shall fall upon thee, thou shalt not be able to put it off, and desolation shall come upon thee suddenly, which thou shalt not know. Even though Great Millstone, the prophets of Great Millstone warns America and warns Israel as well about what's going to happen here in America. The desolation of this place, man. That so-called hell is that lake of fire that is going to be here in America. Verse 12, stand now with thine enchantments and with thy multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be thou shalt be thou shalt be to profit. If so be thou mayest prevail. Right, because you heard out of Trump's mouth that they have been practicing and getting perfect all his weapons for the past 24, 25 years. And, everybody in the world knows their power. The Lord said, call upon your sorcerers. Call upon all your witchcraft on the left-hand side. Your scientists. All his little councilmen he got around him at that table, giving him a counsel of how he's going to win this war. But the man of the Lord already knows that he's going to lose this war. The Lord is already written that America is going to burn forever, and which means for a very long time. Verse 13, thou art weary in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers and the stargazers, the multitude procrastinators, stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. Behold, they shall be as stubble, the fire shall burn them, and they shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. There shall not be a coal to warm at, nor fire to sit before it. Thus shall they be unto thee with whom thou hast labored, even thy merchants from thy youth. They shall wander every one to his quarters, none shall save thee. Right, nobody's going to save America once they go to war. This Third World War kicks off. It's going to burn. It's going to be a stubble, and fire shall burn them. A powerful flame is with, again, that lake of fire through the missiles, ICBM missiles that Russia, China, and all of his Russia's Confederates gonna shoot onto America. America is going to burn, man. Only who's going to be saved out of here is the hopeful elect.
Which is more than $1 trillion a year, so they have a lot of money. And these are wealthy nations. They have a lot of money, and they want to do it. They feel very strongly about it, and we feel strongly about it too. But we're in for a lot of money, and we don't want to do anymore, and we can't. But we make the best, and we're going to be sending the best to NATO, and in some cases to maybe, at Mark's suggestion, if we go to Germany, where they're going to send early on missiles, and they'll be replaced, and NATO's going to take care of it. It's going to be coordinated by NATO, and they're going to work very much with Matt Whitaker, who's right here, who's a great ambassador, and Matt's going to be coordinated. You better do a good job, Matt.
I will.
But Matt's going to coordinate. He's a very talented guy. He's going to coordinate everything. So in a nutshell, we're going to make top-of-the-line weapons, and they'll be sent to NATO. NATO may choose to have certain of them sent to other countries where we can get a little additional speed, where the country will release something and it'll be mostly in the form of a replacement. And I'd like to have Mark, and again, just a highly respected, pretty young guy, for having had the career that he's had, because he had an amazing career before going to NATO. So
you see, Trump is he's got his trust in his council, who is telling him to send all this aid to NATO, for basically to give the weapons over to Ukraine to fight against Putin, against Russia. So this is a blatant act of war coming from Donald Trump. This is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 9. For lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country. That north country is Russia. That's Gog and Magog, because that's where Russia is now, in that land. That northern part of the country is the top country, northern country over in Europe. Even above the United States is the north. And they shall set themselves in array against her. Against who? That her is talking about Babylon, which is United States of America. From thence shall she be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. All Chaldea shall be a spoil. All that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith Yahweh. Okay, because, Chaldea, again, is where the land of the wizards and all of that. That's what America, how he's boasting that they has the greatest technology, and weaponry. So, we just hasten the day of the Lord. With that, I want to say, hope you was edified. Shalom. Call halal Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah by Hashem Makar Kadash. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Shalom.